Hey there, my name is Samy, and welcome back to my playthrough of Dark Souls. So today, I am feeling much more refreshed than the end of the last part. I was getting very tired from probably my longest play session as far as live streaming a game ever. It's well over 2 hours, so I'm pretty sure that was the longest. Yeah, I was getting tired. I was making a lot of mistakes. I think that's why it took so long to beat those two Titanite demons at the very basement of Anor, which we're still at right now. Right now, my goal for this part of my playthrough is to finally get up to Anor, which we saw a small glimpse of before. But there's one quick thing that I want to do. I was trying to do that at the end of the last part, but I did not quite find it. But actually, since I didn't figure this was all that important, it was just like a one last minor detail about completing Sen's Fortress. I just went ahead and looked it up to find out where exactly I can find this last giant. Well, not the last giant, but the giant towards the beginning, the one that raises the gate for you upon hearing the bell. So I figured out. I saw from the video where he was. You actually have to get to him from down here, if I don't die first. And get to him from down here, climb up. And the reason why I could not find him, like, I think that'll become apparent really soon, why I could not find this last enemy. It is top of this ladder. I can just say it right now, but I think a demonstration is a little bit more appropriate. So I actually saw a message here, and I got this item saying invisible wall, and I've gotten into the habit, I guess this is sort of a bad habit, of totally ignoring those messages, because 90% of them are troll messages, but in this case, it's actually true. There is an invisible wall here, which leads to the ladder I was looking for, and this should lead right up to that giant that I was talking about. The very one who opens the gate in the cutscene. Yep, there he is. I saw him in the distance from way up above there. It's like wondering, how the heck do I get to him? Well, tried to dodge away, but I was still recovering from the first hit. And if I actually was able to dodge, that would have been the perfect time to hit him. Might actually be faster to do this from the other bonfire, one near the blacksmith. Probably just faster to run that way. Now there's actually, I could potentially, if I wanted to do a super complete version of clearing Sen's Fortress, I would probably want to take out this giant too. But I don't think I want to do that. I don't really care about him all that much. If I was using more of a ranged build, then I would go ahead and just snipe him. And then I would do a super complete clearing of Anor. For my purposes, I want to feel like clearing that one guy will be enough for me as far as satisfying my playthrough. I don't have my ring on anymore, my rusted iron ring, which would help me move faster on those, on that poor footing. But I'm not about to just keep re-equipping different rings just for this one battle. So hopefully I can just do this really quick. Oh, it's interesting that this wall actually comes back. Usually these walls will stay open once you actually discover them. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it's because, like, usually when you discover a nook like that, you never return to it. So I always assumed that they would. Let's get my retrieval first. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. This is how just wail on them. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, I think I'm all set. As far as Sense Fortress, got a Titanite chunk for that. Get a nice view of the surrounding area. Now I think more of this is rendered now. Like, definitely those buildings are fully rendered in 3D. Yeah, I'm more sure of that now. I'm not sure anything beyond that, but yeah, definitely really cool that the developers were able to actually render all this fully and not use a backdrop. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and what is that? Geography, probably. Gorgeous view ahead. I don't know how many people will actually come over this way and see my message, but for those that do, they will be able to get. They will be able to go, yes, I agree. So is it worth using a bone here, a homeward bone? Probably. I have enough. Okay, onward to Anor Londo, finally. Finally. I don't know if I remember to say this at the beginning, but this will probably be a shorter part than before, than the previous segments this week. But so it's unlikely I will get to do any of the major bosses in Anor Londo, but I will. We're gonna see a good solid glimpse of it, as much as possible, before I have to go again, and then definitely next week should be able to continue into Anor Londo properly. But I think the most important thing right now is to get Sense Fortress behind us, fully and completely. Nothing left to do. Oh, there's a Titanite shard. Nice. Alright, gargoyles, do your thing. Are they gargoyles or like some sort of harpy creature? I'm not sure. It's interesting that these guys are helping me into Anor Londo, because later on I know for sure that there are other forms of these enemies that are not as friendly. They're hostile. Man, this just looks nice. After a long, hard journey through Sense Fortress, this is supposed to be like the major reward. And it sure is satisfying to actually make it here. Especially, yeah, with Sense Fortress being like the the madhouse full of traps that it is, I think this is a sufficient reward, even though it's just like, you know, a visual splendor. Yeah, it's at this moment that, if you made it to this moment, then I think you will have bought into Dark Souls. You will have fully understand why this game is so cool and rewarding to travel through. So our first test, these giants. Now he is fairly slow. I don't have to fight him. Oh, I broke his poise there. That's pretty cool. But I think it's worth a test of my mettle to see if I can do it. Alright, so there's a chest there. That there's also two giants. I will return later on, fairly soon actually. So already we're seeing a lot of things here. Seeing another building off in the distance there. Most likely we'll be heading there as well. Of course, this giant castle. I would not doubt that we'll be heading there. Now, one of the things about this area I think we're picking up right now is that its beauty is very, very deceptive. The fact that we've already seen like very few inhabitants does strike me a little strange. It seems a little strange that a giant city like this, and as beautiful as it is, would have so few inhabitants. Like, where is everybody? All we've seen is a few giants, and fairly hostile. So that probably says something about what is going on in this area, with the world in general, that the city is fairly quiet. I'm not sure I want to say any more, you know, as far as spoilers and not, but it's plainly evident that it is quiet, a little too quiet.
Well, you are a rare visitor. Welcome to the lost city of Anorlando, chosen undead. If you seek Lord Gwyn's old key, exit here and head straight yonder. If you are the chosen one, a revelation shall visit thee. What follows thereafter depends upon you.
So she's actually a firekeeper, like the other firekeepers we've seen. Now, because I accidentally skipped out on reinforcing my flask before, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I should have remembered that, that the Firelink keeper would have died at this point in the story, and I very well could have just given the firekeeper's soul that I had before to to Kelowna, the other firekeeper we've seen before. I don't know why I did. I thought that, oh, we can just go to the Firelink one and do the same thing. Okay, so I have SS Flask +2 now.
What is it?
Let's learn more about
What am I? Well,
about
I am
her.
keeper of the bonfire. If not for me, what beacon would there be in this lost city? A gatekeeper and a guide. That is my calling. The bonfires attended by the keepers are special. They are linked to one another, and their flames never die. Yet never shall the keepers of these flames meet. If you require rest, now is the time. That is, after all, what the bonfire is for. If you require rest, that is...
Okay. So she has nothing more to say at this moment. But, yeah, we do learn a little bit more about what the firekeepers are and what they do. If you notice that, the moment we rested here, we got 10 flasks. So I think there's a pattern here that we've confirm that every bonfire that is attended by a firekeeper is like an equivalent to a kindled bonfire. I don't have to actually kindle this to get 10 flasks. This is a naturally 10. This one will naturally give me 10 flasks. So now that I have a bonfire to use as my hub, I'm gonna go ahead and go back, return into here, and face these two giants and open that chest. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to aggro both of them. I wonder if I can actually reset this so I can aggro one at a time. Pretty sure there's a way to do it. Just like nudge my way. Yeah, now they're retreating. They won't go outside the building, it seems. Unfortunately, they're not gonna let me wait. Aw, his buddy there clipped me. I thought he was retreating, but like, apparently not quite. Alright, I think in this case, patience is probably better. Let's wait for them both to reset. Oh, now they both want to come outside. Yeah, it's going to take them a little while to actually reset back to their original positions. But yeah, waiting is better than straight up dying and just bashing my head against them. You can get a nice preview of what's coming up ahead. You can see a glimpse of an enemy down there. Anywhere where there's an enemy lying in wait, we're sure to head in that direction. We're actually seeing that this area is fairly big. I mean, it should be. All this giant city full of buildings, you'd think that we would be able to visit a significant portion. Alright, let's try to get one at a time here. Alright. This guy's up for the battle. Lead him far enough away. Can do enough quick damage to deal with him. See, one at a time I can do this much easier. A 2-on-1 battle is a little bit harder. Now I could, just try to show my prowess here by actually attempting the 2-on-1 battle, but why take unnecessary risk, right? Okay. I think I'm already giving myself enough of a challenge by doing just a two-handed build in the first place. We see here this ominous statue. People who played this game before probably recognize this person. So again, we learned from Sen's Fortress. We should now check every single chest, just in case. This one is a real one. Get some Demon and Titanite from there. Okay. Not really needed, but yeah, anything is fine. I can always just, I can probably give Demon Titanite any random items I don't need to Kingseeker Frampton. He'll give me souls for them. While I'm passing the bonfire, might as well get my flasks. I don't think I have enough souls to level up, do I? Level up one time. Okay. I'll take a level up in this case. I think I've been a very stamina starved, so I'm I'm gonna upgrade my endurance a bit. I don't get a whole lot of stamina from it, but let's see. Yeah. Endurance for now. Upgrade that to 25 before I upgrade the rest. Try poison. Try lying in an ambush. These are pretty good pieces of advice. If you have like a ranged build with poison arrows, you can just snipe them from far away. Take them out much easier. Alright. Let's try the old one at a time trick. Seemed like I dodged into it, but maybe that's not the best approach. That wasn't actually too difficult. What was that, 3 hits? It's kind of a surprise. I guess that's the powerful effect of bleed. Now a shield slam there, saw before, is kind of has an area of effect to it, so I don't want to try and dodge out of it, or at least dodge nearby. I'll still get hit. I want to just dodge away. Okay, another ominous statue. Check it. Open. Twinkling Titanite, that's pretty good actually, because we need Twinkling Titanite to upgrade any special type of equipment, and that includes the armor that I have on now, and a lot of the really good light armor that I've collected so far require Twinkling Titanite. Be wary of Liar. So, this might be a troll message. However, the likelihood of a fake chest is, I think, pretty darn likely. Well, likelihood is pretty darn likely. It's pretty darn high. So, gonna go ahead and check this, and yes, it is indeed a fake chest. See, if you check, you're rewarded with doing significant damage to him. I did half of his health just because I remembered to check. Also, thank you very much to this guy who left the message. I will rate Alright, we have one more giant here. I'm really surprised I'm able to actually break his poise, but I think that's because I'm doing so many hits in quick succession that even a weapon based on adding additional damage, or like an additional damage effect, rather than like doing straight up damage based on hits. I'm surprised it's so effective. Well, I guess it's like the bleed effect with the Ujikatana. You have to pretend how there's the enemies have their own bleed meter that you build up as you hit. You have to imagine that everybody has their own poise meter too. That when it's overwhelmed, their poise will break, just like they will bleed. So, still by the Great Lord's power. I don't know if you recall from before, but way back when we visited the very depths, the lava-filled depths, after It was after Blighttown, near the Ceaseless Discharge. We saw doors just like this. And this is another dead end that we can't get to right now. We have to unlock it by progressing further in the game. I've already discussed back then how I kind of dislike when games do that. Even here, Dark Souls, I think it goes against what Dark Souls is trying to do, and for the most part, everywhere else besides these doors where you can basically go to from the get-go, from the very start of the game, or at least after you escape from the Undead Asylum and enter Firelink, you can basically go anywhere as long as you know where the keys are and stuff like that. You know how to unlock certain specific doors. Then you can pretty much go anywhere you like. Now you can make the case, of course, that you don't want players to get overwhelmed by a city that, or an overworld that is just too ridiculously large. I don't know. I think by this point, there's very little to overwhelm a player playing Dark Souls. If they've made it this far, then they could probably face any challenge that this game would put up. Another argument in favor of having those locked areas. Yeah, see, so that door would actually lead up there later on in the game. Another argument in favor of having those locked doors is probably that you don't want players to see story content ahead of time. But for the most part, most of the story in Dark Souls is not told in a way that would affect that. That would affect... It's not told in a way where seeing a certain location like that would have a major effect on the narrative. Like, visiting there isn't really all that terrible. It doesn't spoil anything, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, I walked right into that. Pretty darn silly of me. But he's not doing a whole lot of damage to me, which is good. So as far as this game barring you from those areas, I'm not entirely convinced that that was the right decision. Okay, this guy is wrecking me. Hey, poise break. But, you know, at the same time, it's not really that big of a deal. Not being able to go to those areas ahead of time, it's all right. It's I would say it's acceptable. Let's see what else I can do here. So I can go this way, I can go down there. Let's just check out as many different places as possible. Okay, there's a chest down there. Yeah, I'll just head down there then. More Demon Titanite. I don't know, I'd be curious to hear from other people. People that may have played Dark Souls before, or may have never played Dark Souls before. To hear what they think about how this game blocks off areas until you get to a certain moment in the game, or you know how games do that in general, whether they should do that. I think I'm leaning in favor of, you know, let the player do what the player wants to do, right? So, hidden path ahead. Be wary of liar. Alright, so this this area is actually kind of Probably one of the more convoluted things to do. You actually have to figure out that you're supposed to go this way and walk over here. Seems like really strange. It's not like something that is very intuitive. Like, oh, I'm supposed to climb up this thing. You wouldn't look at this like right away and think that this is a path to walk on, right? This is like a roof. What's the right word for this? A roof for these archways. But it is actually a path. Maybe if you have eagle eyes and you can spot this from over there, you'd be like, if that is broken and open, could probably means I can head over there. Alright. That guy didn't seem so tough. One shot him. Now we have another guy. You can see more off in the distance and down on the floor there, so again, I'm reminded how big these areas can be. Like back when we were over there, right? We're still trying to figure out how big this world is. What in this area is just, you know, an aesthetic building that to make this place look full and large, and what is actually a place where we can go inside. And when you like go over here, and then you can see how big this one building is. And then yeah, you can get the full extent just how big Dark Souls is in general. And it has to be a feat of engineering that we don't see any loading screens. Just walking from area to area. It's all seamlessly connected. Probably the biggest seam, as far as I could tell, is when, you know, the gargoyles, or those harpies, well, I don't know what to call them, they take you up, and obviously the game is probably loading in the background when that's happening. It's probably why there's a cutscene in the first place. Alright, so these guys, this might be a little tough, but because I can take them out in just a few hits, I'm not too worried. I'm not too concerned. Alright, so I can see that there's an item on here. Probably there's no way to actually get to that, but, you know, I could probably do this, right? Sure, that works. And then I can, presumably I will be able to get down there because there are enemies down there, so that means I can just go ahead and pick up the item when I'm ready. Alright. Don't let their daggers get me down. Just again, these guys aren't tough. I'm essentially my own enemy there. He didn't hit me one time, but my attack is what actually thwarted me. Pushed me right off the edge. Yeah, not that big of a deal. Shouldn't be too hard to get back to that building there. You know, I definitely like the look of this area. It's very different from pretty much everything we've seen up to this point. I think that's another part of the shock value of entering this area in the first place is that, wow, there are actually areas in this game that look beautiful and not like brown and green. I think that's deliberately. That's a deliberate design as far as just the construction of the world, just the how the world is set up. This is supposed to be a splendorous, rich city, whereas everything outside the walls, like Firelink Shrine area and Undead Burg, is meant to be more of a, a poorer suburb of the city. See our retrievals over there. It's gonna be tough to get that one. But again, I don't think I have to worry too much about these enemies. Just have to worry about my own navigation and footing. I'm not sure if that is like the best. Oh man, yeah. Again, that was my own mistake there. The enemy did not have to do anything. I'm not sure if that's like the best way of doing this from a perspective of like introducing new players to the game. Because when you first enter the game and you see a lot of those gray areas, those... And by gray I mean like literal gray. Those, very bleak, dark areas that comprise most of the beginning of the game. It doesn't really scream, inviting. I think that's one of the reasons why new players probably give up. They look at this. They look at the beginning of the game like, what is this? Like, not only is it a weird game, but it doesn't even really look that good. But I guess that's just another way the game is meant to weed out. Weed out the weak, weed out the non-believers. And players who would, get farther in the game, they're rewarded with the, the visual splendor, the genuinely good-looking areas like Anor Londo. Alright, I think maybe I'm just going at this a little too fast, and I should probably be more careful. With my footing here. Okay, I'll stay on this thing here because that is like a larger area, right? So I didn't think that would hit me. Yep, trying to be careful. Almost led to disaster there, but okay. More ominous statues. Should I attempt to go over here? I mean, there's a message there, right? So that means somebody was able to get there. Yeah, let's give it a shot. All right. Miracles. Okay. Miracles. Oh, hello. I actually, throughout all my playthroughs of the game, I don't think I've ever gone to this chest. Not sure. I might have remembered seeing this chest, or remembered. I might remember seeing this chest before. And I was like, how do I get to it? I think I just stumbled on how I actually get to this chest. Divine Blessing. Not. I mean, it's good. Divine Blessing is always pretty darn good. Well, like I said before about Divine Blessings, they're not really items I end up using just because I'm always a little too skittish about committing to it. Because, you know, they're single-use items, and, you know, once you use it, that's it. Okay, so the trouble about this area is, now I can't actually get out, can I? What I wanted to do was head over that way. You know what? I can actually do the same thing here, right? Yeah, and this should let me head back. You drop anything? Nope. Okay. Yep, back up top. That's good. Everything's fine. Alright, so we are through the top of the building now. You can see we're on the other side of this area. Imminent flyer. Now that we're closer to the large castle, yeah, we can see more enemies, which means those are definitely areas we'll be going to. So we're getting, I mean, I already know this, but we're getting more of an idea of how the extent of the buildings. Okay, we see another gargoyle there. Yeah, he seems to really want to get to me. And as soon as I open the way to him, he will attack. Yeah, so upon entering Analondo in the first place, like when we're dropped down to this area, we see this huge sprawling city, and like wondering, like, is the game like really this big? Is it just like a giant GTA-sized game? Like, well, not quite. Like all those buildings over there, those are not accessible. But even then, Analondo is still big enough. I would say it's big enough to be impressive in its own right. And when you combine that with the rest of the the game's world, I don't think it's really fair to say that this game has a small overworld. Yeah, surely not as big as like a Skyrim or a GTA 5 or something like that, but still big enough considering the meticulousness of how all the different areas are, you know, fit together. They combine with each other, the way they crisscross each other. Alright, so what I need to do right here is move this thing. So when you consider how well put together the world is, then you start to realize that yeah, you're surprised if the game isn't actually smaller, right? Like the amount of work that they would have to put into. Okay, I'm surprised he actually connected there. That's disappointing. Alright. Like you'd think with all the work that they would, you know, the developers put into this game, they wouldn't have time to add all these areas and add up to this gigantic... Yeah, that's not good. If he did a normal attack there, I would have been just fine. But all you just have to do is lightning. Well, whatever. I think now that the shortcut is opened, I should be okay. Be more direct path. Yeah, let me take a look. Yeah, I can just go straight there now that I've done the shortcut. Thankfully, that doesn't reset. And that's one thing about the game I haven't really considered before, is that a lot of things that reset in the world versus don't reset seems to be completely arbitrary, and there's no real reason for why they reset. I'm not really sure. At least there's no like in-world explanation as to why certain things reset upon your death. And why they don't. Why certain things don't reset. And as far as enemies resetting, that can come down to the curse of the undead. Because they're living things and they can also get cursed as well. But as far as like structures and inanimate objects, walls and things like that, I'm not really sure why those would reset. If I only had just a little bit more stamina. Right. Okay, so my retrieval is actually up there, so I have to... Before I continue forward, I can actually... Oh, you know what? Actually, there's something down here that I want to check out. Right, so this is actually down to the bottom floor of that, of the cathedral here. I won't actually do that right now. I'll get my retrieval. And then there's something I know I want to get to. Again, here we're given a lot of options. We can go straight through that way into the castle. We can go into the bottom level of this building here. And I believe, if I remember correctly, there's actually a third way, a third position for this lever, that leads to yet another level. Certainly not short on options. Alright, so doing this only to get the retrieval, right? I don't think there's anything else, is there? Yeah, not in this position. Let's go to the... all the way to the bottom level first. This can be pushed one more time. Further down and see what that means. Yep, that's as far as it goes. So this also lets us go to the bottom level of the cathedral here. But let's check out the very lowest level. Need humanity. Amazing trap ahead. Not sure what that means. Secret ahead. Need ring. Another impressive statue. Also these cool looking knight decorative areas. Also, of course, bonfire. Another one. Of course, these being statues, we don't know who all these figures are. As we approach them, you know, I actually had a lot of fun speculating what all these things were. And I was reading a lot of the item descriptions and learning more about the world. I mean, this game doesn't have audio diaries, but they do have these item descriptions, and most of the backstory of the game, or of the world here, is basically hidden in all these item descriptions. So by this point in the game, I did learn enough to try to speculate who these statues, or all these statues, might be. Like, okay, that ring that we picked up is probably a clue. There, look at the ring. Ring of the sun's firstborn. Lord Gwyn's firstborn, who inherited the sunlight, once wore this ancient ring, boosts the strength of miracles. Lord Gwyn's firstborn was god of war, but his foolishness led to a loss of the annals and rescinding of his deific status. Today, even his name is not known. So that led me to, you know, speculate that maybe the statue was maybe the firstborn. But then again, if he lost his deific status, as the ring said, then why would there be a statue of him? So this might actually not be the firstborn, but maybe Gwyn himself. And we've heard the name Gwyn uttered by various characters in the game up to this point. I know who he is because I played this game before, but you know, trying to remember my state of mind, my state of knowledge about the game, unlike my very first playthrough. And we know for sure at this point that Gwyn is a very important figure in this world, and I think it's not too crazy to think that that statue might be of Gwyn. Okay, so where to first? I think the bottom level of the cathedral seems to be a good place to start. Again, we're back in here. Want to get that item that we dropped from the chandelier. You can see that there are a ton of dudes here. I think maybe if you successfully get down here without dying, and you cut off the chandelier, then I think probably some of these guys would have been dead. But since I actually died, and I have to take them out all over again. Yeah, let's approach this cautiously. Don't want to aggro too many of them at once. Aw, man, I missed. That's not good. Again, just like a lot of the enemies from the beginning of the game, those undead husks from before, if we learned any lessons from those guys, it's, you know, don't let enemies gang up on you, because even enemies that can die in just a few hits can, you know, do severe amounts of damage. You know, like these guys are doing right now. Alright. Thankfully, only one left. Painting Guardians. These are what the guides are called, Painting Guardians. So, great magic weapon. That is a very useful sorcery if you actually have the stats to use sorceries. And if you're like a hybrid sort of build that uses both physical weapons and sorceries, then great magic weapon will likely be a thing that you'll use. However, with my stats, I doubt I'll be able to use it. I would probably need to upgrade my intelligence stats a bit to use any sort of sorcery. Let me check what that one specifically requires. Let's see, it actually requires 15 intelligence, and I only have 9. So if I wanted to, I could upgrade my intelligence by 6, and I'd be able to use great magic weapon. But maybe not. That's not all that important. So there's an item over here. Black iron helm, nice. So that's the same armor of Black Iron Tarkus, the character we met down in Sense Fortress. Very heavy armor. You also see this very intimidating painting. See what these messages say. Gorgeous view ahead. Need item. Alright, so if I examine this, I know something will happen. So I'm not entirely sure I want to actually do this. But, you know, a fresh playthrough, you'll likely examine this, and then go off an entirely different direction, let's just say. I don't know if I should spoil it, but yeah, I'd actually recommend examining this. If you see this, if you get to this point, and try to see what happens. Just because, yeah, it leads to a very interesting portion of the game. I will get to that eventually, but for now, I think I don't want to do that quite yet. I'll come back. I'll come back to it. For my purposes, I don't want to... Yeah, I don't want to do it quite yet. Mainly because I want to like get a few things out of the way first. Mainly, I want to settle the whole business with the shortcut that I was trying to do way earlier. Oh, I did this wrong, right? Yep, I did this wrong. Went too high. So the shortcut that I was trying to unlock through Kalana and her covenant, down where I went back when I was in Blighttown. I wanna get to the point where I unlock those dead ends, like the one we saw over that way. Those golden force fields. I want to get rid of those so I can actually do the shortcut. And then I think once I'm finished with that shortcut and the covenant that I'm currently in, I don't know if this will say what my current covenant is. Chaos Servant. The Chaos Servant Covenant. Then I will go ahead and do that painting thing. Alright, so we have two giants. One at a time seems to be a good strategy. It seems to have been working so far. I should have, if I YOLO'd there, I actually would have been rewarded because I staggered him. Ah, man, I thought I dodged in time, but yeah, not quite. Trying to just get a really quick hit on him because his health is so low. There we go. Now one-on-one fight is what I'm looking for here. Oh, I can't believe that missed completely. You know, so strange. Hate missing when you're actually locked onto a character. Why do you ever miss? Like, what the heck is the purpose of a lock-on if you can still miss? Easy peasy. Alright, so there's an item over there. Check out this gate. It does not open from this side, so I have to open it from the other side, naturally. I'm in a dark wraith. This one's also locked, which leads only one direction to go. I am hearing some noises, probably of these enemies over there. Let's see, that's nothing. Let's check out this area. Yeah, I don't think that's anything either. Yeah, there's nothing there. So we're heading this way. You guys still friendly? No? Yes? No? Alright, one of them is coming to say hello. Hey, remember me? You actually helped me get up top. Were you the same guys? Maybe not. I'm thinking maybe you weren't the same. Yeah, these are actually lightning. They have a lightning effect. There we go. Just be patient, aggro one at a time. And that's basically the way to get through Dark Souls. Anywhere you can do that, you do it. Okay, that's taken care of. You get to see the view from the other direction. Pretty interesting. How much geometry the world can have at some point, as you know, some areas of the game. Like we went through there, all through there. And sometimes I like doing this, looking back at, you know, areas I've been to. Like, man, it feels like... Actually, it doesn't feel like I went through a whole lot, but yeah, I went... I did walk out, it does seem like I walked a whole a whole long way from this viewpoint. Yeah, it came from up all the way up there. Walked down. Yeah, actually, looking at the time, I can believe it. I can believe that it took me a while to get through. 'Cause we're running on maybe almost an hour. A little bit past an hour, yeah. That seems about right for that length of time, or that amount of area. But I guess since I was, constantly battling enemies and working my way through, I was never bored. I was always entertained. Alright, so we have actually 2 enemies here. That's tricky, tricky. If I can take them over here. It's probably better, except for when they do that, the ranged attack. Oh. Actually just fell off, okay. Yeah, that's totally possible. Yeah. That's one way to die to them. So I actually did not rest at the bonfire, the second bonfire in that area, because I was transported back here. Silly of me, I should have rested there. Yeah, let's do that. We can probably do one more attempt at those. I'm just gonna call them demon harpies, harpy demons. Not entirely sure what they are. I'll try to go as far as possible. You know what? The draw distance in this game is pretty darn cool, because you can see I can actually see my retrieval from way over here. And it's a wonder that the developers were able to get this working on like the consoles, PS3 and Xbox 360. It's not so much a wonder when you actually see the frame rate on those consoles, but the frame rate of the games on those consoles, yeah, but still definitely impressive nonetheless. Guess I'll have to take out these guys once again. This guy first. Just because I beat him once does not mean that I can rush through. That is a trap that you can fall for many times in this game, Dark Souls. Like, oh, I beat them before. Yeah, I can definitely do them again. I can just rush through, no problem. But you have to make sure you do it the same way. Oh wow, there's this guy actually followed me, which is pretty darn surprising. I saw the thundering steps there. Like, whoa, wait a second. This guy's following me? Still aggroed? Alright, so let me deal with this titan, this demon first. Yeah, okay, they've finally returned back to their original positions, but yeah, I'm super surprised that that second giant guard actually decided to follow me over here. What a jerk. Alright, back to where we were. Take 2. Retrieval! Is there any way to aggro these guys one at a time? I think this is like my best shot at that. Okay, 1 down. Also have arrows coming in. Large arrows. Come on, kill the thing. Kill the thing before the archer kills me. Okay. Alright, so this area, we finally reached it. This is like one of the most infamous choke points of the game. Got a really narrow path, and archers flinging these gigantic, like sword-sized arrows at you. And this is a place where a lot of people get frustrated. But actually, when I played this one, I went through this pretty darn easily, and I'm like, wait a second. When I heard people talking about this area, like, wait, the archers? I mean, the thing I just did in one go? Okay, whatever you say. Try poison. So, okay, here we go. Another choke point. So I'll try to get one at a time, of course. You know, the trick is just you have to run when they can't target you. Alright, come on. This guy needs to die. Has to die. Alright, again, totally my fault. He didn't actually kill me. He died, and then I, for some reason, decided that walking off the ledge would be a pretty good idea. Something tells me that walking up the ledge is not the best idea. So they are just like I did in the cathedral area. Once again, my lack of accounting for my footing ended up killing me. And it wasn't the enemies whatsoever. Like, he could have done no damage to me at all, and I still would have died there. So the fact that he almost killed me, completely irrelevant. One of the things that comes to mind right now is something that Vatividya, a YouTuber who I guess has chronicled the lore of Dark Souls. He specifically pointed out these stairs, and notice how there are 2 different sets of stairs. There's these large stairs, and then there are these small stairs. Small stairs are just right for me, right? Someone of my size. And then there are, of course, these large stairs made for, well, someone of the size of these giants here. So we get just from the level design. The fact that this city was once inhabited by I forgot this giant actually wants to tango. Okay, giant. So the city of Anor was inhabited by both types of people, the normal-sized humans and then the giant, larger humans. And so they actually built the city to accommodate both types of people. Okay, making short work of this. Take 3, I think, of this area. Right. Can't forget there are giant arrows coming at me. Yep, totally got hit by the arrows and not the demons. If I can find a safe place to not get hit by the lightning bolts, that'd be nice. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. Fourth time's a charm, I think. Yeah, I don't know how many more runs into that area I can do for this part, but I'll try to fit in as many as possible. Approaching the end here. I think if I can get to another bonfire, then we'll call it. Otherwise, I'll just make a few more attempts, and then I guess we'll have to end it at an earlier bonfire and carry on later. I wonder if I should actually take out this giant, or just try to do these harpy battles a little bit faster. I mean, I can still do one at a time and then do them faster, I don't know. Full YOLO mode. Yeah, see, this is exactly what I was describing before. I'm deviating from the method that I know works, and I'm being punished for it. So that was actually something I fully expected would happen. Sometimes I can get lucky and defeat them, but you know. Yeah, but for now, I think I'm gonna call it. And I will attempt the run into the castle on a different part. So if you tuned in, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you later where we will continue our journey into Anor Londo. See ya.